Good afternoon, everybody. We are back. It's the right side of campus, and we're live Thursday, September 28th, 2017. I'm your host of Big Men on Campus here, breaking down football. Donnie Wrightside, my partner with me. Donnie, we are opening it up to the listeners today. I mean, we're talking whatever you want. Thursday night football, Friday night football, Saturday, Sunday. You want to talk Louisville, you want to talk Miami, you want to talk recruiting, whatever. We're talking about it today here on the show. Donnie Wrightside, welcome in.
Hey, man, I'm telling you, Jeff, it's Tuesday. Again, the life of the gambler. I love football. Tuesday and Wednesday are the two most single painful days of the week for me, Jeff. I know you get away with some soccer. You know, there's some big level matches you can enjoy during the afternoon. I'm a big baseball guy, but not in this part of September. Literally, Jeff, torturous for me over here, man.
Yeah, this is those days for you where you have to, I guess, do your work or watch something else, get away from football for a little. That is important. I mean, balance in this business. And hey, Donnie, you know what? People would say to me, how do you know so much about college basketball? Well, because on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, when nothing's going on, I'm sitting here, Donnie, going through teams. I'm in the E's right now, Eastern Michigan. I'm on the E. You got to go through. I go through each team, so I use these times as times to get to know each other, get to know teams. We're sponsored here by Sportsbook Review, SBRpicks.com. Go to SBR Odds for all the great odds. I use SBR Odds for everything. You can personalize it. You can make up top where the books what you want to see. You can set up a rotation number, whatever you want to do. Also, if you're out there and you haven't liked the show, please do it. If you're new to the area, subscribe. A lot of great videos over here at SBR. I know Thursday, Donnie, is a big day for football at SBR. A lot of the videos come out. So make sure you check out everyone's videos, including ours. We do the roundtable. We have the closing line. We have football. We have college football. Donnie, where are we going to start today? What do you want to get into first? You want to get our final picks out for the Thursday football game, Thursday night?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, we'll go over that. But having just to piggyback off of what you said, Jeff, with the SBR videos, the one thing that I really enjoy about SBR overall is you see me and Jeff come on here quite a bit. Me and Jeff get angry at each other. Jeff gets angry at other people. I get angry at other people. Other people get angry at both of us. But the best part is you're going to get an angle from every single perspective on Sportsbook Review. Imagine if just me and Jeff did only videos on here. You'd only get our slants, but so many people come on here.
That would be kind of cool, Donnie. If we were the only people.
If it was just me and you, if we changed the name from SBR to Donnie and Jeff Review.com.
Yeah, where it's just our uninhibited views on everything. And we were like Howard Stern. It was our view and that was it. I think that would be cool. But you're right. There are a lot of great views here, a lot of different ones, a lot of some people are analytics guys. Some people, are like us. Well, we kind of just full round everything. Bayern Munich sacked their coach this morning. I know you like the ruthlessness. They look like complete shit yesterday. And there's been a lot of problems quickly with Bayern Munich. And that was one of the issues yesterday with that football game in general. PSG's had problems in the locker room. Bayern Munich's had possibly more problems in the locker room. Donnie, as you know, coaches are important. You got to get the right manager. And Carlo Ancelotti was not the right manager for Bayern Munich. They get thrashed yesterday, 3-0, didn't even score. That was my only loser yesterday because fucking Bayern Munich couldn't score one goddamn goal. But it's all good. We got Europa League today, which is quite the shit show normally. So we'll see how that goes. Donnie, we've been doing this a lot, actually, unfortunately. It's kind of a shame, but we'd be remiss if we didn't mention this. Hugh Hefner has passed away. A guy that's a very interesting guy. I mean, look, we can laugh about his advocate of liberation sexually and his freedom of expression, but he actually, I mean, Playboy was quite the story on how he created it. I mean, it was just basically he wrote for another magazine. He left after they wouldn't give him a raise, and he said, "You know what? I'm going to start my own thing." All of a sudden, look at what he became. He's truly a great businessman as far as from that life. I mean, but he ended up on the women's side of things, really kind of that dude. He had the mansion. He helped a lot of women, and that's the big thing. Not only did he have women around, but it's not like those women live there for free. I mean, he took care of a lot of people, and he was a good guy. I mean, he's a great businessman, and he was a big advocate for all that different stuff.
No, I mean, look, I mean, from what you say, the 70s and the 80s and even the mid, getting up to like 95, 96, 97, explosion of the internet, Playboy was it. I mean, when Playboy came out, millions and millions of subscriptions, tons of money he brought in. And how about the foresight, Jeff, even to buy a massive property in Los Angeles way back in the day where he would make it his own compound. And as he got older, and, Playboy was, I don't want to say going down the tubes, but it's hard. You see the newspapers all over the country. It's hard just to have anything or sell anything in print. It was a hard way to transition over, which not many companies can make that. Playboy started going down in relatively. But one thing he could always bank on there, Jeff, selling his property for $100 million and then just playing rent per year until he, passes away. He's going to give it to his son. Of course, he's going to spread that around. But you are right about being a businessman, Jeff. Casinos all across the place. There's a Playboy casino in Atlantic City in the early 80s. The web that he touched all throughout the world, where it wasn't in vogue, Jeff, to be putting this out in, papers and newspapers and magazines back in the day, fought it all the way through. Great businessman. You're right at that end.
Yeah, and as far as Hugh Hefner, I mean, I always did my research on him. I was always interested in his career and kind of how he began. And look, I mean, as far as his views, I mean, him and I had similar views and he was a big advocacy for gay marriage. Did a lot of big things as far as on that front. And he was a proud Democrat, which you always got to love nowadays. I know for me. So I rest in peace to Hugh Hefner. Really a great businessman, a good philanthropist, and a good guy, seemingly. We'll miss his. I always like the Cribs episodes they did at the mansion.
Yeah, he's in the early mid to 2000s. He had his own show with the Playboy,
sure.
The three girls they followed around. Who didn't watch that? If you're a guy and your girl watched that show, who didn't tag along and be like, man, I don't really feel like watching this, and then be like, damn, okay, I'll watch it.
Yeah, The Girls Next Door is a great show. I was a big Bridget fan.
There you go.
I like Bridget a lot. Yeah. I never understood the thing with Kendra. I never saw it with her, but
well, I think he wanted the difference. I don't even want to say older's not even exactly three completely. You had the Barbie doll, the one that was closest to him, whatever her name, I forget what her name was, and then you had the super athletic girl, which was Kendra, and then you had the softer one on the other side, the more mama-like type, so to speak. So he's a genius, man. Genius.
I will say I do know the names of the chicks. I feel like I think it was Holly, Bridget, and
Holly. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
And I think Holly was like the actual, like his real girlfriend, and the others are just like playmates. They hung around.
Funny by the rules they had to live by too, Jeff. They got like a stipend, I believe, like either $5 or $10 grand a month. You didn't have to pay for anything.
Sure.
But there were stipulations that came along with that, which were basically, look, you are hot girls. You're not going out past like 9 o'clock on most nights. It was kind of funny the way he actually had to keep them in check there. But hey, I mean, that was the lifestyle.
It's basically like a college athlete. You just have to follow the rules. Many don't, though, and that's why they get kicked out of the mansion. But a worldwide icon, dead at 91. We'll say rest in peace to the great Hugh Hefner, the idol to many men in this country.
One of the better tweets I saw, giving him a sayonara was, "This is one of the few people, Jeff, that you could say he's actually not going to a better place." So.
Yeah, and also one other thing on him is he is really what I think as all of us strive to be as a person, a liberated, rich man who really does whatever he wants. I mean, he didn't care about what mainstream society said about him. He said, you know what? I like women. I love money.
I like the party.
And I like helping people out. And I think that's what who wouldn't look up to Hugh Hefner? I mean, I don't care who you are. I mean, as human beings, we strive to be rich, have a lot of women, and happy. And he seemed to be all of them.
And Jeff, and very what's the word I'm looking for? Loyal. Because if you watch that show and you watch anything around Hugh Hefner, most of his secretaries and people, Jeff, much, much older, just like him, keeping him around 40, 50 years, not just saying, hey, you're a 50-year-old secretary. I'm just going to get one of these, 23-year-old smoke shows to be my secretary. Very loyal around the house and to all, people that worked on the grounds and everything. So.
Yeah, no, exactly. And, he was just a great guy who helped a lot of people. And you're right. A lot of those loyal people stuck around him for a while. Donnie, let's move on to talk a little football here. And what we're going to do, guys, I think we did this last week. we're really going to kind of open it up at the end, just kind of ask questions on certain games. If people hit us up about what do you like about this, what do you like here. Let's talk about this one, though. 2 games tonight in football. Let's give our final leans or picks. Green Bay Packers -7 against the Chicago Bears. Totals at 44. Donnie, what do you like here?
Yeah, we had some, it's kind of an interesting line to watch because earlier this morning, Jeff, you saw some 6.5s pop up, but now it looks like they've been resurrected back to 7. Bet online actually showing about $1.50 juice, -7, -115 the Greek, -7, 115, which is about right. I think this line, the appropriate line should actually close at 7. Yesterday, Jeff, one of the the best bets we give out on the roundtable, I was sitting on under 46 in that ball game. Chris now showing 44, Sportsbook 44.5, and I'm buying into a little bit lower scoring in this one. Chicago's going to come out and run the football. Everybody's banged up on the front line there for the Green Bay Packers, so it's not going to be Aaron Rodgers is going to be able to sit back for 5 and 6 seconds, just pick apart a defense. I think they're going to be under a little bit of turmoil tonight because, again, it's a Thursday night football game. I get back to the point. Both of these teams, Jeff, played on Sunday, and both of them played overtime ball games. Now you get back to a division game. They tend to settle down a little bit more. 44, it's a tougher number than, 46. But, again, I'm still going to lean to a lower scoring football game, somewhere around that maybe 24-14, somewhere in that range, 24-17. I can certainly see one of those type of ball games being played here. But as for the side, Jeff, you know me, I like to lean towards the home team, but I don't think there's that much overall value in 7 taking it either way. I think Green Bay is going to win the football game. Whether or not they win it by 10 or 14 points is your guess is as good as mine. But in case that line flips again, Jeff, 7.5, you probably would lean towards going with the Chicago Bears. 6.5, Jeff, probably would lean going towards the Packers here.
Yeah, that's a great point by you. It really is. That's what it comes down to. I think look, it'll be interesting to see if we can get that. Green Bay is normally a public side. They're at home here. Maybe get some punters late hitting Green Bay here and maybe pushing that number up a little bit. And I agree with you. I think if you get 7, 7.5, I'm going to look Chicago. If I can get 6.5, I'd look Green Bay. We have to also point out, Donnie, and I mentioned this last night on the closing line, Aaron Rodgers has been sacked 13 times this year. 2 of his tackles are out, which is big. Bulaga and Bakhtiari. Randall Cobb's been injured. Jordy Nelson gets injured a lot as well. They don't have much of a run game at all. This has been a problem for the Packers for seemingly since Dorsey Levens left. They haven't had much of a run game. I guess they had Eddie Lacy for several years, but
yeah, how's Eddie Lacy looking up in Seattle, by the way, with that great free agent signing?
Sure, and he was good for them for a couple of years, but other than that, they really haven't had much in their run game. They're putting in receivers as their running back to try to fool people. It's not really fooling anyone. I don't think Mike Glennon's going to beat anyone here, but. Their run game is pretty good. They have some dynamic running backs out of the backfield. I actually agree with your underplay. I think it's a pretty good play. I think we see 2 teams that will struggle a little bit tonight. And look, Donnie, the last 4 games between these two have been decided by 8 points or less in all of them. So, Chicago has kept it close here. I want to see where this line goes. If it goes up to 7.5, I'm going to grab the Bears. If it stays at 7, I'm probably just going to pass in this game. I'm not a big fan of Thursday night games. I'll be watching the other game anyway. So for me, I'm going to go ahead and pass. As far as Bulaga should play tonight, that's not true. Brian Bulaga's out from what I've heard.
I think somebody's picking my brains right here, Jeff, in the chat box going down the list. People are talking about Navy and Tulsa in this one. David H. brings up Coastal Carolina and UL Monroe.
Let's write them down. We'll get to them here in a little bit. We just want to get through these 2 games because, as we know, many will ask about them. Again, Brian Bulaga is doubtful, and that's usually means doubtful means unlikely. So we'll go with that.
They're not supposed to play, but again, they're both banged up. And again, if you're doubtful, if you put it this way, my favorite theory in life, Jeff, when I look at the NFL, is like he's a game time decision. He's probably not going to be all that effective, right? Like if you have to go out a couple minutes before the game and be like, you know what, I think I'll give it a go. Come on, man.
If your handicapping angle is on someone on a game time decision on if they're playing or not, and that's going to change your mind on the game, unless they're high level, Mike Trout or something like that, you probably want to avoid that or bet against them because usually Odell Beckham, remember when he played on that Monday night game, he wasn't a threat at all. He didn't He was out there more or less as a decoy.
Yeah.
But
if you have to and especially when you're dealing with the guy, Jeff, what are we dealing with? 300-pounders talking about their ankle is bulky. You know how that works, man.
Sure. Donnie, also, I wanted to shout out one of our listeners, Naeem25. He's in here once in a while. He reached out to me last night. We had a nice conversation on the phone. He's from Baltimore, Donnie. Played all 4 years at Maryland University. I looked him up. He gave me some really good stories, Donnie, about
what years we talking about? What years we talking about here?
I think he was in 2005 to 2009. He was on the same team as Nolan Carroll. He played safety.
On the Phrygian teams? Yeah.
Yes, Phrygian, correct. He actually led his team in interceptions. I played on the Nolan Carroll. Nolan Carroll was his corner, actually. He told me some good things about bowl games, which I was interested to find out. But really good guy. Like talking to him. Says he enjoys the show, and he told me, Donnie, he uses a lot of his college football experience in betting, which would make sense. But shout out to him. Great guy. Really like talking to him. As far as the other game, Donnie, so you agree you're going under? I guess that's what you said?
Yeah, I had the under. I gave under 46 yesterday. I took a look. I mean, again, when I give these out, even though they're called quote unquote best bets on the round table, we have to give plays out there that we like. So I didn't. It's not like I bet the house. I love it, but I'm going under in this football game. I took it a little bit yesterday. Yes.
Very good. Let me write a couple of these games down. People are sending in. We will get to them here. What is it? UL Monroe. Who are they playing? I forget.
Yeah, UL Monroe, Coastal Carolina, Jeff. Fresh off an ass kicking from Western Illinois, I believe. The Leathernecks.
Right, 52-10. The Leathernecks. Yes. By the way, I know Drew Martin and some guys like Sunbelt. Listen, I mean, I have at times, but I will say this. That game, to me, seems dreadful to consider to watch. UL Monroe and Coastal Carolina. Donnie,
Jeff, I watched film. I spent a lot of my day yesterday watching film on those two programs. You'd be proud of me, man.
Well, listen, I mean, I've made it clear. I literally go over every team in college basketball. There are some dreadful teams you got to go over. Alabama A&M. I mean, Stetson University.
And when I say watching film, the stats tell you actually more than the actual gameplay itself, but there's so many football teams. And the same thing with basketball. You see how fast the team is tempo-wise, but you want to actually get like a quarter and a half of maybe, just to visualize what their actual game plan is, regardless of what the stats are. That's what I mean. Because, oh, man, did you break down? Did you watch, the safety play? It's not so much that. You just want the conceptual feel of how that team actually attacks a defense. That's all to me watching film. The same thing in the NFL. I want to see, and more in the NFL, Jeff, I mean, we know each team inside and out. You're more or less watching the NFL games to see if, why did that score end up, 14 points instead of 3 points or 28 points instead of 10 points. That's more about what you're watching at, because the stats don't lie to you. It's more conceptual of what you want to watch from these ball games.
Sure. Like I said, Donnie, I'm going through the E's right now, and Eastern Washington is my next team. So
Evansville, good. Little
Bogan Bliznak, Sir Washington up there at EWU. Looking forward to it. I can't wait for college. I'm like, I get,
practices are at what, this Sunday night, I believe. I was reading on a couple of these programs.
Starting this week, yeah. So, it's going to be fun, man. I can't wait. I'm really pumped up. So we'll keep our grind going through the E's here today. Donnie, let's go through the other one, college football. We've talked about this one. Big line move down, Donnie. People are coming in on the Cyclones here. Again, judging where you're looking, Texas -4.5. You could actually get a 5 out there at Bet Online on Iowa State if you like the Cyclones in this matchup. Total is about 62. You get 62 at Bookmaker, which is good, Donnie. We like the over, which we've talked about here. What do you think here? I mean, I'm looking over. I mean, I've said that before. I just think we see points in this game. It's going to be an interesting spot for Texas. At this price, I'm more inclined to take the Longhorns. Look, if you're getting 6.5, 7, Iowa State might be the play. But as you get down to the 4s, you're starting to see a little value on Texas. This is a big game for Tom Herman because, Donnie, you've had one game where you were not prepared at all against Maryland. Mm-hmm. You came back against San Jose and USC, and you played really complete football games against both teams. Won the game against San Jose easily, game back against USC. You lost, but it was very, overtime loss right on the last play. You had a bye week to kind of reinvigorate yourself, get back to business. You had a week to prepare for Iowa State here. Tom Herman really doesn't have much of an excuse. They have to come out here prepared. If they don't, I really have to wonder what Tom Herman's doing. This is a good spot for Texas. Iowa State, unfortunately, Donnie, I think the one concern you had with the game against Iowa is they showed a lot in that game of who they are. They're not going to sneak up on anybody. Going into Ames, though, on a Thursday night, easier said than done. I'm concerned about Iowa State secondary. They're coming off injuries, and even on injuries, I don't think they're very good. Also, Texas, I like their defensive line, but I wonder defensively if they're any good either. I'm concerned kind of what we have here with Texas defense. I do think whether it's Shane Buechele or Ehlinger, both will be able to move the football. I think it'll be Buechele here. You look at the skill position players on these teams, with Lazard and with Jacob Park, good quarterback there. Both these teams are a bit more up-tempo, so I look forward to points in this game. I don't think there'll be a ton of stops here. I think, again, this is like a 38-31 type of game. I'm going to go over 62.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you now. I think you're going to see more points than not in this football game, but it's kind of interesting on that line movement. What did you open up, 5.5? Somewhere 5 in that range, sitting at 4.5 now. I'm actually still leaning, if I were to take a side here, Jeff, still on Iowa State. I just think it's a good spot for them.
Yeah, I think if you liked Iowa State, though, you probably should have bet it, Monday, probably. It was 6.5, 6. We never saw a 7 here, so that's kind of went away. But, yeah, it'll be interesting. I think they're definitely the sharp side here. The public's not betting Iowa State, not at all. I don't think they are. But what do you don't think they are either, right? They're not betting.
The ticket split here, Texas 56% right now. Now that we're getting towards game day, you get a little bit of a good read on that, but still a moderate public favorite for Texas. And again, if you're just a public bettor, you're looking at this game going, wait a second, I get Texas at 4.5. Who the hell is Iowa State? I get that, but Jeff, we've seen this game in Ames, and again, Thursday night, much different, Jeff. You would agree that if this game is played on 3:30 Saturday afternoon as opposed to Thursday night, that big game feel for them.
Sure. No, I agree with you wholeheartedly. It'll be an interesting one. We'll see what this team is. Is Iowa State a team that can hang in the Big 12 this year, or are they just that team that's, once they get in the Big 12, they're going to, struggle. Have you whatever East Tennessee State yet, Jeff? No, I haven't gone. That'll be coming up soon. Bucks off a great year last year. Went to the tournament. Did lose to Florida, but I thought it was a great game from them. Really looked good in that game. High Flyers. I'll be interested to look over them this year. Donnie, let's open it up here and kind of have some fun here on the show. Kind of just rapid fire, go through some games here. I'm going to pick them at random. We're going to go over some listener games. And again, if you're out there, you want an opinion, feel free to send it in.
Jeff, somebody on the chat box said they want us to pick every single NFL game and just give them the winners. So forget about, I guess, line by line games.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
No, I guess he meant no spread included, just to win the game, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I guess he's concerned about his survivor pool.
He's got the office pool, right? Big office pool, yeah.
Sure. So let's do that. I'll go Packers. We agree Packers.
Yeah, let me flip over to some NFL here. Yeah, Packers just outright, sure. Mm-hmm.
Okay, Saints, Dolphins. I'll go Saints.
Yeah, I would go Saints as well. Saints
Panthers,
easy next
Patriots.
one up there, New England. Yeah, I think we both know there.
Rams, Cowboys. I think the Rams keep it close, but I think the Cowboys will win.
Yep, I agree.
Detroit, Minnesota. I don't have anything. If Bradford
amazing how long, is Bradford? I guess we saw last week how well Case Keenum played. Obviously, he's not going to play. One would assume not nearly as well. But is that a big differentiating line though? What type of line movement are we looking at? I wish Matt Holt was popping in here, but we'll probably get a hold of him a little bit later. I wonder what the line is going to be if Bradford starts versus not starts. It can't be more than 2 points. What are you waiting on?
I think they're more or less saying at this point, I don't know if Bradford's going to play. I mean, he didn't practice yesterday. Friday, actually today coming up, we'll see. But from what I've heard,
and there's no pressure to get him in there, Jeff. I mean, you won. If you lost last week again in bad fashion and Keenum stunk, you probably like Bradford. Hey, look, man, we're going to tape your leg up and get your ass out there.
I mean, it is a division game, at home. But I hear you. We'll skip that one. Tennessee, Houston. I'll go Tennessee. I think they win the game.
Me too. I'm going to stay it. Yep. I'm going to keep on that same track.
Jags, Jets. I mean, we agree. Jags. Sure. Bengals, Browns. I mean, the Browns have won 4 times in 35 games.
Yep.
I'll go Bengals. Steelers, Ravens. We may disagree here. I think the Steelers will find a way to win and cover, but I like the under for my pick. I just can't.
I'll go. I mean, if we're just picking the game, I'll go square as hell with Pittsburgh. And we talked about it the other day. It's 2.5 line 3. And I know Baltimore's home. And Jeff, you saw the tweet I put out this morning, just going over like, hey man, Ravens are so damn tough at home. Was this Ravens team going to be tough at home against a good opponent? Sure. I know in the past there were much better football teams. This is one of the most inept Ravens team coming into a Steelers game to me. Offensively and defensively, banged up across the board. I get to win the game. I'll take the Steelers here, even though it's on the road.
Also, just want to make people aware. Every half point is critical in the NFL. We are, again, just picking the winners. Yeah. That's what someone asked us. This is not my general feel on the spread. Okay? Someone asked us about this. Steelers, Ravens, we like Steelers. Bills, Falcons. I think the Falcons run away in this game. Giants, Bucks. I know you think the Giants are going to come to play in this game, but with Grimes in there, which, by the way, Donnie, I was right, as always, with injury predictions. I had some info that Brett Grimes would practice and play, and he did.
He should have played last week, that bum.
Right. From what I understand, and I want to make people aware here, Chris Baker was sick last week. He wasn't injured. He was sick. Yeah. Quan Alexander, I think he's still possibly out. But Grimes is in, full participant yesterday. Listen, Blake, I'm aware. The shelves are being made. Chill out. What are you, an interior decorator, Blake?
He wants your mom to get you a plant, too. A nice ficus in the background. Look good.
I don't need my mom to do anything. I can do my own stuff here. You guys have to remember, when I started doing videos at SBR, it was just about making sure we had the right sound. As SBR gets more and more popular, more and more big time, we got to change it up a little bit. So, again, we're going to change it up. Don't worry. Chill out, Blake. There's a lot more things to worry about than people's shelves, Blake. There are people without electricity and people that are sick and hungry in the world. Why are you worried about my shelves? Worry about the picks, Blake. Giants, Bucks. I go Bucks here.
Yeah, I mean, if you're just no point spread, Jeff, no 3.5, no 4, no 3, I'm with you on that. Tampa Bay, yes.
Sure. Chargers, Eagles. I said yesterday I don't understand why the Chargers are a favorite here. I'll go Eagles. It's virtual.
As soon as you said that, Jeff, Pinnacle just flashed a -2 up on the screen.
Yeah, I don't.
It's really an interesting football game because I've watched a lot of Charger football. The Chargers can do some things that can give the Eagles trouble. Like, let's just say Phillip Rivers gets the ball out quick with their 5-yard offense. I mean, I get all that, but when I look on the flip side, I just think the Eagles are going to be able to put up some points on the Chargers because they have what you can. I'm not even going to say you can knock out their pass rush because their pass rush is really good for the Chargers, but the Eagles have a good offensive line that can slow that up. Wentz is going to make plays. Alshon Jeffrey is going to make plays. Torrey Smith's going to be able to get deep. Ertz should be able to eat over the middle. You're right. It's not and you know me, Jeff. Well, Donnie's just going to pick the Eagles again. When have I picked the Eagles yet anyway in any of these freaking games? So I would lean on the Eagles in this one, yes.
Yeah, no, you're right. Cardinals, Niners. Look, I think the Niners will hang around here. 7 was the number last night we grabbed, which was a good number. I don't know that the Cardinals can win. I don't really feel confident they can win this game, but I guess at home you have to pick them to win, but yeah. I'm not confident in it. You agree? Of course you do.
Yeah. Come on. I'm just not going to you know me in this situation right here. I would like to just say, no, I disagree with you, but come on, man, they should win the game.
Right. I know you want to pick against them, but
I can't show the bias.
Oakland, Denver. I go Denver.
Yes,
Again,
me too. Me too.
I think Oakland
I think it's a cheap line, Jeff. 76% lining up early on Denver. I completely agree with the public move. I don't understand why it's even 3. If the line was even 4, Jeff, I still be like, yeah, I like Denver here in this spot. So, I mean, it's kind of interesting to see where that line's going to end up there.
Yeah, agreed. Colts, Seahawks. I mean, Seahawks, clearly. Redskins, Chiefs. Chiefs. Right. So there you have it.
Jeff Tomarino says in the chat box, 90% of the time, 3-point underdogs cover and they win straight up. Not sure why you take the Giants if you don't think they can win. Well, I mean, what was the final score in the Eagles-Giants game just a couple days ago?
Yeah, because every point matters. That's why.
Yeah, but what was the final score in that game? How much did the Eagles win by?
3?
Yeah, there you go.
I don't remember. 3.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
that's the whole
listen,
point.
man. I mean, most of his takes, I don't really. Whatever. Okay, he knows it all. Let him talk. Arsenal brought their fucking under 17 squad to Belarus. Yeah, they did, but they don't care about the Europa League. Arsene Wenger doesn't care about the Europa League. Arsene Wenger cares about himself. He picks his own lineups. His lineups are stupid. They don't make any sense. But they'll still beat Bate Borisov because, Arsenal's under 17 team is better than Bate Borisov. So, yeah. Do you want to comment on his comment there, Donnie, Mr. Know-It-All?
Yeah, but what's the point about the 10% of the games? Well, there's no point about the 10% of the games. The game that we were actually going over dealt with the Giants, who just lost a football game the week before by exactly 3 points. What is the line this week, Jeff, in that game right now?
3.
3 points.
Could very well
fall. That's the point.
Keith Sayers, no problem, man. Good luck in your office pool, whoever you pick. Donnie, let's go over some of these games sent in by the listeners here. As always, I do want to fuck me. God damn it. I lost my first soccer game of the day. Fuckers.
Just like that? What happened?
Europa League, man. I had
what, did it just end or you had a team total? What'd you have?
No, it was it started 11 a.m. Eastern. It's over in Kazakhstan, so it's a lot earlier than the other games. I had a team Astana who is really good at home. It's really tough to go to Kazakhstan and play. They have a really interesting surface over there. Their fans are really high level. And the team they were playing, Slavia Prague out of Czech Republic, they haven't won on the road this year in any competition. And naturally, they go on the road and draw with Astana. Actually had to get a late goal, a goal right before halftime to even push that game, draw the game. So, we'll lose. It is what it is. I took a shot there, plus 140, and Astana came up short. But what are you going to do? We'll hopefully get the last 2 games and have a day on the road. Let's jump into it here. Donnie, calling people clowns. What is going on here? Or no, you
Who called somebody a clown?
Yeah, listen, Don Marino, I've asked you about the name calling. Stop doing that. Stop calling people names in here, guys. I mean, let's we're trying to graduate past that stuff here. Let's stop with that. Move on. He doesn't like you. You don't like him. Kevin, stop provoking him. Just move on. Stop. I feel like
chat box, Jeff.
I feel like a kindergarten teacher, Donnie. I'm patrolling. I'm a safety patrolman patrolling my chat box.
You do have the ability to put people in timeout on the chat box, I believe, without banning them, right?
So quit with the. I don't care what you're doing. Stop doing it. I've told you before. Just leave him alone. Let him say what he wants. Don't you continuing to entice. You do that a lot, though. You are targeted. People don't like your know-it-all attitude, and he doesn't like you. So just leave him alone. Let him go. Yes, I'm a home monitor. Correct.
Guidance counselor. Good one. Yes.
Yes. Good point, DT Dubs. I'm a
guidance counselor.
Call me Mr. Nadu here. That's what you call me here. And right on cue. Bears with the points question mark. N8730, you got to get here a little early, pal. I at 7, I would
there you go.
Probably go with the Bears, but at 7.5, I'm gonna avoid the Pack. I would take the Bears at anything above 7. Packers at 6.5, I'd probably go that way. It's a tough game, man. Really. And I don't call names anymore. I'm graduating, moving on from that. I'm no more calling names. Thomarino, I think a lot of us would just rather you just move on, but you continue to come back and hassle everyone. So, you just do your thing. No need to call people names. MLB plays, question mark, Ryan. Any thoughts?
Just keep the question mark there, Jeff. Don't worry about it.
No, again, we've graduated.
There's no absolute. I'm telling you right now, Jeff. There's no reason whatsoever you should be betting Major League Baseball from Thursday, Friday, Saturday through Sunday this weekend. There is absolutely no reason. If you say, Donnie, I'm just going to pick out 2 dogs and flip a coin and take both the dogs, I'd be like, you know what? That's probably the only reason that you should be betting Major League Baseball. If you think you have an angle, an edge when nothing matters, and we'll get back to the argument, Jeff, me and you have in not preseason, spring training baseball. Whoa, this manager the last 6 years in spring. Yeah, good luck with that. But if you're betting, just please promise me, just take an underdog, because I can never get mad at anybody for taking plus money.
So you're not interested in the Phillies today? No interest there?
Nah, it doesn't even flip my screen. I don't even want to go to Major League Baseball and be like, hey,
actually,
look at that, a full card.
Phillies don't even play today, so that would make sense. You're not in the Phillies.
Cleveland is playing Minnesota right now in the 4th inning. I never would have known that unless somebody just said, "Is there any what's going on in Major League Baseball today?"
Sure. Donnie, one other thing, I wanted to bring this up. This is kind of the knock with you, Tom Marina. You continues to go back to old things. Like Donnie's made it perfectly clear he's not interested in your bet. Yet every day you mention the same bet again and call him, this and that because he doesn't want to accept it. You nitpick at people, and they clearly don't like it. I mean, we know you only have the same stats over and over, but I mean, he didn't like your bet. Why do you keep hanging on it? Just move on. Hey, big man, take Texas tonight. Line undervalued intentionally by the books for equal pay. Line should be 13. Wow.
Line 13. JP's coming in strong.
Doesn't believe in
Jeff the smart capper would say right now from your end, be like, well, I'll take Iowa State plus 13. How much you want
to bet? JP, I'll take the 13 because I pretty much believe you were the guy in here a week ago that liked UTEP against Arizona, if I'm correct, Ryan or Donnie. Wasn't it him?
Utah. No, it wasn't Utah. It was a different one, wasn't it? Which one he said? Was he yelling at us for a game?
It was Arizona UTEP, I'm pretty sure, a couple weeks ago. He said Arizona sucked and they weren't going to cover. I'm pretty sure that was him. And he made a similar comment about the line. But, JP, if you give me 13, I'll take it. Are you interested? I'll bet you 200 cash right now. You want it, JP? Let me know where to find you. You send the money, I'll send the money. I'm in. You want it?
Mine should be 13. I like it. I like the angles right there.
Okay, JP, do you want that angle? Do you want that bet? Are you interested? Let's see. We'll give him 5 seconds. 5, 4.
Trying to broker deals.
Yeah, we're
said wrong.
Okay, I guess he's not interested. All right. Well, okay. You seem confident. Donnie, Tulsa Navy. I'll take 7 for. Yeah, I'm not interested. I want 13, which you said. You're the one that said 13, not me. You got to love these guys, Donnie. They say names and numbers, and they don't feel comfortable doing it. Tulsa Navy, Donnie, game number 153, 154. That was a game sent in, I believe, by David H. You got Tulsa. You got Navy -7. Total is at what, 72, Donnie?
Yeah, it looks like 70. There's some 72.5s, which they were available a little while ago, but 2 just blinked up at Chris and Bet Online at 72. So we'll go 72 here just for a number.
Arsenal scores. Very good. That's early. 8 minutes in. Good goal. Who scored, Cameron? Got to be one of the young boys.
Was it Oxlade? It wasn't Oxlade-Chamberlain?
Oxlade-Chamberlain doesn't play for Arsenal anymore. He got sold to Liverpool, actually. He plays on my favorite side now. And he's actually not played well since he's came to Liverpool. The Arsenal fans don't like him anymore. They hate him because he left for Liverpool. Donnie, what do you think of this game? I mean, 2 high-powered offenses here. Tulsa, we know, doesn't play much defense. They're a team that kind of sit on their back feet a lot. They don't get a lot of stops. Navy, we know, runs that triple option really better than anyone. And, I urge people to definitely take my advice here. Showtime does a show about Navy football, and it is very interesting. A lot of really good info off that show I've gotten. And it's a good look into the actual discipline you need to play at Navy. I mean, it's amazing. And Kenny Amatalola made a comment on the show the other night and said that over Donnie the last 10 years, Navy is the least penalized team in the country over the last 10 years. I mean, that's amazing. They constantly lead in that area, and they're more inclined this year. Zach Abe's turned the ball over a little bit too much, and they've paid for it. He needs to be better with that. But overall, I thought their option looked really good last week against Cincinnati. Defensively, they had some trouble. What do you think here?
Yeah, no, I mean, even though that early line, I mean, these soft openings, a lot of the times in college football, they're very early. You probably can't get them. Your local doesn't have these numbers. So I see it open to 3.5, depending on what outlet it was. But the prevailing line right now is 7, Jeff. And I'm not going to lie, even though you missed out on the number, and it's not smart to go chasing a number, even if you like the team, Jeff, I still like Navy at -7 here for some reason. I don't think that you're talking about stops with Tulsa. And the one thing that we always like with the Navy football team, let's just say, Jeff, Navy is up 41-38 with 4 minutes to go on their own 40-yard line. There's a better than average shot, Jeff, that Navy punches a touchdown in just trying to run the clock out versus that bad Tulsa defense. I don't care it's 7. I don't care it's a terrible line. Donnie, you could have got it at 3, 4, 5, or 6. I get all that. Well, we're giving opinion now. I still like it at 7, Jeff.
Yeah, no, I can't disagree with you. I do want to see Navy defensively. They've been a team that arguably over the years has had trouble on that side. They're trying to be better, but they weren't. They had looked up a little bit. I mean, but overall they haven't. I mean, Florida Atlantic, they struggled. Last week they struggled. Just not too interested overall. I have a play here that I like, but I'm gonna avoid giving that one out. So Donnie, you like Navy? You're saying?
Yeah, I would take Navy. If you can get 7 or less, I'm still going to lean on Navy. I know it's on the road. Square play, 72% of the tickets coming in early on Navy here. But I agree with the public in this instance. Until I see Tulsa be able to step up and get a stop, I can see one of those games, Jeff, where Navy is just keeping that football 7, 8, 9, 10 play drives, 6, 7 yards a pop, and just bleeding that right out. Because the one thing that I always think is interesting in these type of ball games, like Navy over the years, Jeff, you've bet them a lot. I mean, they're in a lot of high-scoring games because even though they run the football, that's a high-powered attack. The one thing that I always get a little bit of interest on. Tulsa wants to run fast. They want to throw it around. They want to have a high-octane offense. Some of the time when Navy keeps that football, you almost feel a little bit more pressure as Tulsa. Like, we better make this happen here. We might not see the football for a while, as opposed to going up against like an SMU where you say, hey, we just went 3 and out 3 straight times. No big deal. We're going to get the ball back in another 2 minutes anyway. Let's see if we can put it together. So that little added pressure from Tulsa on their end, knowing that they have to score every time just to keep up with that Navy offense, should be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it before. I mean, other than Celtic and soccer, Navy's probably been the most profitable team I've ever bet on in college or in any sport. I mean, they're really good against the spread. I mean, overs have been very profitable with them. AAC is, I don't know about you, Donnie, but I think if you're asking about me about capping and picking winners, I think it's one of the easier conferences personally.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of value in betting the AAC. And as it gets kind of bigger, we'll see how that translates. Interesting game here, Donnie, 165, 166. You have numbers all over the place in this game. UL Monroe, -7.5 at Bookmaker, -9 at Bet Online. You have a total of 53. Coastal Carolina off of a humbling loss last week to the Leathernecks of Western Illinois. And look, for a team like Coastal Carolina, we have to remember they're coming back into Division I. Western Illinois is a pretty good FCS team, and they're kind of on the same level. But should you lose 52-10? I don't know about that. UL Monroe, though, I also have pointed out, I'm not a big fan of this group either. Donnie, do you have anything on this game?
I mean, I'm trying to find an angle. I actually have it as one of my 6. Like, I want to call this. You have like themes on Saturdays, like a big game Saturday, or right behind us, the big game breakdown. This is going to be like my off the radar Saturday with some of these football games I'm looking at. One of them, I'm trying to make a case for right now, believe it or not, Jeff, for Coastal Carolina in this shot. I wanted to get a look at Coastal Carolina because, again, you didn't see a lot of Coastal Carolina last year getting the bump up. Now, at least, they're getting on ESPN3. The one thing UL Monroe doesn't do very well, Jeff, is stop the run. Memphis, 319. Southern Miss, 284. UL Lafayette, 231. They were in a shootout last week. I think that game went double overtime, 56-50 on the final. It doesn't show if it went to overtime or not, but I believe that was an overtime game. I like the way Coastal Carolina played, obviously, opening week versus UMass. Dipped into that game a little bit. UAB, 30-23, lost not that bad, but absolutely got waxed last night, 52-10. And I think if you're a public bettor, even if you're, probably not looking much at this game, but that game is going to stick out right away, saying, how the hell did you lose at home by 42 points? Now you're going to come back and hang, and the spread yesterday was over 10 for quite a bit. I guess Sharp or some steam money hit that play, because right now, Jeff, I'm trying to lean Coastal Carolina because they're going to stick the football on the ground. A spread attack, but a spread running attack. When you watch them play, they do have a decent tailback. It's just a matter of where this line's going to go. I'm actually in a holding pattern. I want to see if it's one of those things where you get that buyback Saturday morning where it hits 10 again, which is a nice value. I can't imagine this game, Jeff, dipping below 6.5 with Coastal going on the road here. But I'm trying to make a case right now to take Coastal in this game.
Yeah, and the problem with Coastal Carolina is their coach is gone. I mean, he's going through some medical problems right now. He hasn't been in there. That's concerning. Pretty good coach, Joe Moglia. Naeem is saying that they're not ready for D1A. I don't know about that. I think
they beat UMass, the D1 team, right? I mean, it's not like they're just – but it was kind of eye-opening, 52-10 last week, which, again, is a contrarian type better, which I tend to lean. I love the fact they got smoked last week because that's the last thing that people see. Western – who did they get beat by last week? Illinois? No. Western Illinois. Like, ooh.
Right. It wasn't it was the Leathernecks. And I'm not a big fan of Garrett Smith and Yael Monroe. I said that earlier on my on the chat that we did, the Campus Connection. This one's a pass for me, but I would actually agree with Donnie. If I had a lean, I would go with the Chanticleers here.
Not a great game.
I would play Jeff heads up and no limit hold him for 200. Matt, whenever you want to do it, we can do it for more than that if you want. I'm all in. Donnie can be the dealer.
Jeff, the question is, next time when you go to the IFBC next summer, will you be there and will you be in the poker tournament?
Surely, yes. And I actually will call it out right now. If anyone beats me, I'll give them I don't know, I'll come up with a dollar amount. Big Men on Campus, you have 10 times as many trolls as I do. And you know what? I love every one of them equally. You ain't anybody until someone hates on you, because Biggie always said, you're not anybody until somebody kills you. That's how I look at life. If you ain't hating, you're not doing it right. You don't have haters, you aren't that cool.
Jeff, by the way, I don't know if this interesting line movement would think here, Jeff. A 20.5 just popped up at 169 at 170 on the board here, Jeff. Whoa. Down in the Bayou.
Well, I don't have a feeling I know what game that is without even looking at it. Interesting.
It's an interesting number, yes.
Yes, 20.5. You're right. Someone's asking about San Diego State, Northern Illinois. These teams play every year. Northern Illinois gave them a pretty good game last year. But I'm not jumping in front of San Diego State here, especially at home. They went on the road last year to Illinois, and they had a tough game. I'm trying to remember. Did they lose that game? I'm trying to remember correctly. I want to say they did.
I think San Diego State beat the hell out of them, didn't they?
No, I don't believe so.
Are you sure?
I'm gonna have to look that up here.
Book right here.
42-28. And I remember the game was a little bit closer, I think, than we might lead on. But, at any rate, Rashad Penny, I mean, Donnie, I'm seeing his name on a Heisman list, and I think it's great. The kid's
like a bear at running back. The kid's like a bear at running back. Yeah. Absolute bear.
He's great. Yeah. I mean, he really is. And you know what's crazy about San Diego State? Juwan Washington's good as well. I mean, he's a great.
He got nicked up last week. Yeah, you're right. No, he's a great. You know what's funny, Jeff? It seems like every year San Diego State loads up with a dominant back and like the perfect complement back right behind them.
Yeah, they just churn running backs out. And what will happen is Penny will move on and Juwan Washington will come up. Rocky Long,
and then that next guy will take his place. Yeah.
He is one of the more underrated coaches in the country, I think. I think he's a fantastic leader, and he does a great job recruiting. Both him and Steve Fisher do great jobs recruiting there. And we've heard the stories about Steve Fisher. I mean, it wasn't the easiest place to recruit there. I mean, it's very nice, but, I mean, the team sucked. They've done a great job. I mean, really, really impressive stuff. Yeah, I'm not betting against SDSU here. Northern Illinois, I think, is a better football team. I think they've improved, surely, but they've used 5 different quarterbacks over the last couple years. I think on the road here, they're going to struggle a little bit. I know that last week they're off that big win against Nebraska, but, you got to be up 2 straight weeks out in the West Coast. I like some of their players, though.
Like Santa Catarina, I think falls right into that San Diego State mold, because we all know, Rocky Long's an unbelievable defensive guy. He's going to have that team ready to go. Santa Catarina, more of the mobile quarterback, more the not as good passer as Ryan Graham. I actually would have rather if Ryan Graham was healthy and played in this football game as opposed to Santa Catarina in this one. But again, you're right, Jeff. I mean, last week, I saw people even tweet, I liked Air Force in the spot they were in. Rainstorm, if it didn't happen, or if they didn't call the game, probably Air Force wins that football game. But credit to, going back in the locker room, getting things right. The weather came out right away. San Diego State was completely the better football team. But coming back home, there's no more spot here for San Diego State. You beat Stanford. You might have partied. Oh, my God. Now we got to go play a tough division rival on the road. Tough to beat there at home. Obviously, now you come back home, and there's no longer that shock factor like, whoo, man, I'm looking ahead for some football. Like, they're going to be ready for this football game, San Diego State.
Yeah, and I think that was something I wanted to mention to you, Donnie. I thought that was impressive what they did last week. I mean, it's not easy going to Air Force to win. It's not easy facing that option. It's also not easy playing in the rain like they did. I mean, that was – I thought that was an impressive win. I mean, they were able to continue to answer, after. And look, I know you had Air Force. I thought there was a tough break with the weather. I felt like,
I couldn't believe when they had the lightning because I was watching the game. San Diego State, Jeff, was having trouble just getting like the snap and the handoff. They weren't even worried about offense. It was almost like saying, I hope this rain stops or it's over. And Air Force was moving the football. But you're right. In the fourth quarter, it was like Swiss cheese out there. It was like, just give the ball to Penny. He makes one move and nobody can tackle the guy. And they're just mauling all the way downfield because Air Force couldn't pass. They can't pass 5 yards when obviously San Diego State had more of an offense. It was a tough break for me to watch the game, just needing like, a stop or a field goal because I was getting 3.5 in the game. But Rashard Penny on that one last drive, 6 minutes to go in the game. They're on their own 30. Hand the football off. Dude goes like 70 yards on the first play. I was like, get out of here, man.
Sure. Yeah, it's he was running wild for sure. As far as someone's pointing out, I guess Mark Lawrence mentioned that he liked Northern Illinois. One thing we have to remember, Northern Illinois was a lot better over the previous years. I don't put any stock into what a team did 3 years ago. It doesn't mean much to me. And not for nothing, all due respect to Mark, I don't look much into what Northern Illinois did last year either because I think they're 1 year older. They're a better football team overall. They have a little bit more.
They're better this year than last year. Yeah. I mean, that's for NIU. I agree. But yeah, you're looking at some of those Rod Carey teams when they had Jordan Lynch at quarterback. They were just what the team went to the Orange Bowl, didn't they? Where did they go? Where did they go that year?
They went pretty high. I don't remember exactly, but they went pretty high. I mean, they had Kenny Galladay and Drew Hare was a good quarterback also after Jordan Lynch. Jordan Lynch is a money machine, man. I mean, that kid.
Who was the wide receiver before Galladay down there? Back when it was like Tommy Lee Lewis, and they had another stud on the opposite side.
I'm trying to remember, man. I got to look back.
And that was the Jordan Lynch team. I mean, I never seen it. Like that's when I actually fell in love. I mean, I was a late comer to the MAC. I mean, not 2002, 2003. He was an okay division. Temple was in the MAC for a couple years there. But that whole Jordan Lynch era at NIU, I was like, this conference is just wild, man.
It was around like 2013-ish?
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Like 2012, 2013. They had a legitimate wide receiver on the other side of Tommy Lee Lewis. I'm
trying to remember who it is. I feel like I know who you're talking about.
But you're right. When you say Galladay, he was that similar type good of a player. But just I don't think he turned out to be much in pro football. Let me see. While we got this live, I'm going to take a look here.
Well, Jimmy Ward played for them, too, out of the 49ers. He was a safety.
Yes, they did. Sure he did.
I think it was Tommy Lee Lewis. I think that's who you're talking about.
No, it was the opposite side. They had a dual threat. They had one on Tommy Lee Lewis on the other side, like that quick little speed guy, but they had their go-to big game receiver.
I'm forgetting, honestly. I want to say when I see the name, I'm going to think, shit.
No, you're going to know.
There it is.
It wasn't Deron Brown. No, that wasn't it, was it? Oh, that was the guy over there.
We're gonna hurt ourselves over this one, Donnie.
Yeah, I'm searching through a couple things and trying to find it.
So am I. Argyris Turner?
No, he was more recent.
By the way, to anyone there, Arsenal has scored another goal. Theo Walcott with 2 goals today. Very nice. Theo Walcott, much maligned in the Arsenal fan TV landscape, but scoring goals tonight. Yeah, I don't know. I forget who you're talking about. I'm pretty sure it's Argyris Turner. Listen, Emza, good luck with your play there. I don't agree with that stat.
Which one?
Again, I understand the stat, but I don't think it has much bearing here. Whether you're a coach or whoever, your players have to play well. Another goal for Arsenal, 3-0. Wow, they are rolling. Donnie, did you find it yet?
It wasn't Breskis. I'm going to say it was. I'm I'm going to say it was Deron Brown. It wasn't Breskinson. I know he was a decent wide receiver as well, but let me just check out Deron Brown's stats here. Yeah, it was him. 68 catches, 1,000 yards, and 6 touchdowns. That was him.
So for me, I actually kind of want to take the over in this game. I think they'll have some success in Northern Illinois. I think they can get to the 20-point mark. I think San Diego State will do pretty good work here.
Mm-hmm.
They're a team that could score points. I look at this as like a 30-24 type of game, 31-21 type of game. I actually got a weird feeling Northern Illinois will cover, honestly, for some reason. But I just don't want to step in front of the Aztecs right now. It's just not something I'm looking to do. Let's move on, Donnie. Miami of Ohio, Notre Dame, someone asked about. I want to take the Redhawks here, but I just don't have the guts to do it. They have not played well this year. Did get a win last week against a poor Central Michigan group with a up-and-comer quarterback that might not even up-and-come ever. Notre Dame at home, going to get all the calls. Miami of Ohio, I think, is still in that low-level program type of feel for Notre Dame. They could overlook them here. And Miami of Ohio might be just looking ahead to their MAC season, Donnie. This is a tough spot.
It's such a good point, buddy, because there's a couple games like that, which we've talked about, even the LSU-Troy game. I know these kids because I want to see what outweighs the other, because these kids look forward to these type of football games all season. That's like, the cherry on top of the ice cream. We know we have the MAC, but man, how much fun is going to go to play at Notre Dame? I always wanted to play there. Let's see if we can measure up and see how they do. But then again, in the back of your mind, because we are cappers, you're saying, well, how's the coach going to go into this game? I mean, it's all fun and good if we can compete and play well, but the eye on the prize is we want to win the MAC. We want to be healthy. We want to be ready for the next week's football game. It's always interesting there. But Miami, Ohio, a really good coach football team and a solid overall team. Same thing, Jeff, with Troy going down to LSU. These aren't two punk programs that are going to go in there and just lay down. They're going to play and try to play as hard as they can, but the motivation is always what I struggle, because this isn't one of those games, Jeff, where you play them like opening day or week 2 where you're not even in the conference play. Some of these teams have already played conference and then step out of conference for a week before they go back. It's always interesting to see what the actual game plan is going to be and how effective that's going to turn out.
Yeah, this is an interesting game for sure. I mean, I definitely think, I think Miami Ohio is clearly better. I mean, you and I were both pretty high on them, but I think the one concern was, could they move the ball at a high level? And Gus Ragland struggled a little bit this year, but I think they'll be fine in MAC play. But this is a tough spot. I think a lot of people are going to look at this one and say, well, Miami Ohio is really, up and coming. They've improved. They'll relate Ben Roethlisberger for some reason to this game, like it means anything. I'm kind of looking Notre Dame, to be honest.
Jeff, here's the reason why you want to take Miami of Ohio, because they won all those games to end the season last year. There's your cap.
Sure, and plus,
they're coming in hot, Jeff. They're coming in hot.
Plus, there's been so many great MAC players. Antonio Brown, Ben Roethlisberger.
Yes.
Kareem Hunt. Look at this. It's amazing.
They played Kareem Hunt last year. Look how they held them down. There's no reason to believe they can't hold down Notre Dame's running backs.
That's so good. I want to agree with you. Let's see what did they do last year against Kareem Hunt. They didn't play Toledo last year. So
I don't think they played him though.
Sure. There are goals raining down in Belarus. 3-1. Arsenal. Bate Borisov has scored, and I believe our friend Alex from NeedForTips.com gave out both teams to score in the over 2.5. I think I gave out Arsenal in the over 2.5. So those bets are looking great. Also, Donnie, I'm on the great Red Star Belgrade today. Where's Belgrade, Donnie? What country is that in? Do you know?
Belgrade. I'm going to go maybe Ireland.
Seriously,
I don't know. Where the hell is Belgrade?
You don't know where Belgrade is? Wow, really?
No.
It's in Serbia, Donnie. Come on, Belgrade, Ireland.
Is Serbia even a country?
Yes, it's a country. I hate the country, but it's a country. Yes, yes, Ireland. Come on, Donnie. Where's Cologne? That's a good one. Where's Cologne? Cologne, like the stuff you spray on yourself. This is a tough one. If you get, I know this, but I don't know if you do. Cologne.
Yeah, it can't be. It's not Italy. Where else could it be over there?
Italy. It sounds English, huh?
I don't even know.
Italian,
Cologne? I'm not sure.
It's in Germany, Donnie.
All right.
So I'm on Red Star Belgrade here. Draw double chance. Draw double chance, Donnie, a great bet to make in soccer. If you fall in the draw or win, you win. So I'm hoping to just keep this one scoreless. That would be fine by me. Let's get into another one. This is an interesting game here, Donnie. One of the listeners asked about Air Force, New Mexico. Interesting game here. Lamar Jordan is back, from what I understand. He's practicing.
Both of the quarterbacks that were banged up back, yes.
Yeah, he's practicing and fully healthy. So I would expect Davey to go with Lamar Jordan here. This is usually a high-scoring football game. Both these teams love to run the ball. Air Force loses a little luster going on the road to me. I think New Mexico getting back Lamar Jordan, I'm going to be a little bit more inclined to grab them. I actually mentioned with New Mexico, I think they're when fully healthy, I think they're a team that can bother people here in the Mountain West. Basically a pick 'em at home. I think they're a little undervalued here. I like Air Force, but they're pretty hamstrung. If they can't move the football through the run, they're not very effective. I think New Mexico can be a little bit more dynamic with the quarterback back. I think they get right here. I like New Mexico in this game.
Yeah, Jeff, I think the 50s, honest to God, I think the 50s is a little bit short in the total in this football game. I would think this game would have been like one of those
scores, Donnie. Boom.
See that? Good. I gave him good luck.
Bang.
Absolutely gave him good luck.
You told them they were from Ireland and they got pissed off.
Look, exactly. Ireland, get the hell out of here. Watch this goal. Bang, bang, bang.
Boom. I love it. Bang, bang, bang. All right. Sorry, Donnie. What were you saying?
No, I'm just saying I think the 50.5 is a little bit short in that game. I mean, both of these teams, yes, they run the football, but, if the weather is nice, which I assume there's going to be no rain in New Mexico for this football game, why not just lean on the over in this one? You're looking at a game which, again, you can make a case for either side, which is why it's a pick 'em. I think Air Force is a really good football team. I think they're, coming off that game in the rain. They weren't able to move it. Maybe, San Diego State went up there and beat them. They're not that good. And we've seen New Mexico. I rode New Mexico last year to a lot of money. Damn good football team. I still think they're good. One of my favorite players, Jeff. Can we get Gibson back in this football game? We could push that over into the 70s, but he's not going to come back and make an appearance again. I would actually lean on the over in this game, Jeff.
Yeah, no, I definitely see where you're going with that. I mean, two high-powered run offenses.
They're going to have a couple They're going to break a couple really long plays in this game on that triple options. Yes,
yeah,
I lean on the over.
I believe New Mexico last year led the country.
It was amazing
in 10+ yard carries per game. I mean, they had a lot of big runs. I mean, even the game, watching all year long last year, I remember one game, Jeff. It was New Mexico at home. I believe they were playing Wyoming. And obviously, everybody knows Wyoming, that super high-powered offense. I swear to God, Jeff, New Mexico snapped off 20-yard run after 20-yard run repeatedly versus Wyoming. They were so much fun last year, and I hope they can get back to that pace. And again, getting your quarterbacks back is going to help you a lot here. Yeah, last year, New Mexico had 10 per game of 10 rush yards or more.
Yes.
10 of those.
Yep.
You're basically scoring a touchdown a game extra through the run game. I mean, just through big plays. Yeah, that's impressive stuff. Cologne is so bad. I know they are. I can't understand how they were a favorite today. They're just dreadful. They can't score. They're having a brutal season. I like Red Star Belgrade, usually only at home because, I mean, going there is like literally you're going to get beat up if you go there. But I'm not kidding. I mean, their hooligans are crazy in Serbia.
I had a frozen call here. What's going on over here?
So
there we go.
I'm looking forward to that, Donnie.
Yeah, no, you cut out there for a second there, but now it looks like something was wrong with the Google feed. But it looks like we're back on the air.
Yeah, what I said, Colorado State, Hawaii. We're going to be talking about that on the BMOC Bet Buffet. So tune into that. It'll be out tomorrow morning.
Yeah, no, a lot of lines moving throughout the day. This is fun because I already sent out one of my plays for this weekend. As you know, Jeff, I mean, you see it all the time. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we get most of our damage done. Don't really bet too much on Saturday mornings and Sunday mornings. I mean, there is occasional wagers that pop up, but, me and Jeff, this is where it's go time for us. A lot of fun today. Should be a lot of wheels in motion.
I've actually sent out 3 plays already. Most of them were early week plays. The one, though, I did just send out this morning, and the line's already moved. So interested to see where we end up with that. I have 1 Friday night game, and I have 2 Saturdays so far, which will be added to. Donnie, one other one here. Yeah. Iowa, Michigan State, someone sent in 145, 146. 2 teams off losses. heading into their Big Ten calendar. Iowa off that tough loss to Penn State, a game in which I feel like it was just ripped from them. It all happened very quickly, Donnie. I think everyone in that stadium was really just slapped in the face by Trace McSorley, honestly. An impressive win for Penn State, though wasn't really that impressive. They were 13-point favorites. And I'll still never understand that line as to why the line was 13. I don't know.
Yeah, it never even got it. I mean, I know what did Penn State went up at 1 point, 8 points, was it?
I think 8 was the highest.
They had like a touchdown. Yeah, but you never felt threatened in that game if you were Iowa, with saying, "Oh my God, they're going to blow this spread." You never really had that feeling, even though they did get up about a touchdown.
They're just built to upset teams. I mean, they're built. That's what they do. They run the football. They play great defense. Josie Jewell, I think Josie Jewell, Donnie, is Luke Kuechly coming in the making. I really believe that. I think he is absolutely fantastic, and he's done it against great competition, and he's always in there for it. He just makes plays, the kid. I mean, he's really great, and he goes back to, Donnie, those old school linebacker feel, the Paul Posluszny's, the LeVar Arringtons. I mean, just kind of goes back to those.
The Chad Greenway's back there for him.
Sure. I love Jewell. He's one of my I might even buy a jersey just because I love the kid so much. By the way, Donnie, he was a farmer. Farmer's kid, went to Iowa, had no reason to think he'd play football. I think he played high school football, but it wasn't a recruitment or anything. I want to say he's a walk-on, but kid's fantastic. Really like him. This game's interesting, though. In Michigan State, I was really blown away with how poor Michigan State was. I thought they could hang in that game last week. It was one of those big games.
A lot of turnovers for them last week.
Yeah, it was one of those big games that we were off on. But we have to point out, Iowa has real struggles moving the ball outside of Akram Wadley, but that's what they are. They always have trouble. They hope for turnovers and short fields and that kind of thing.
Misdirection to their tight end. Yeah, I mean, it's what Iowa's done for 20 years. The same offense every year.
They've covered, though, 8 of 11 on the road against the spread. I think this is going to be a battle of running backs. Akram Wadley against L.J. Scott. I like Wadley. I like the kid a lot. For once, L.J. Scott's not the best player on the field. Then you look at Iowa, they've covered 12 of 17 against Michigan State. I think to go on the road and get a cover here, I think they're the slightly better team. I love their defense. I just like the way they play football. I'm not into this game. It's not an ideal spot for either team, but I will go with the Hawkeyes.
I mean, yeah, let's look at the defense that Iowa played last week, Jeff. I mean, Penn State's going to put up some ballistic numbers on offense. Unbelievable tight end, gunslinger quarterback, and maybe the best running back we've seen over the past 5 to 10 years in college football. And they did a damn good job of keeping them in under wraps, not letting the big play out of the box. You're going to see a lot more points coming out. I mean, just look at this week again. I think Penn State's Indiana in this football game. They're going to shoot it out and put up major numbers. Defense travels. Good coached teams travel well in NCAA football.
A lot of goals today in Europa League already. Plenty of goals. Donnie, I wanted to rivetingly tell you the last game on my card today is Skenderbeu, which is an Albanian side. They're playing against Young Boys today.
The Young Boys are back, Jeff. One of my favorite teams I always have rooted for since I was a kid is Mönchengladbach.
Borussia Mönchengladbach. Good pronunciation there by you. A pretty good German side. But yes, Donnie, the Young Boys are an interesting team. Do you know how they got their name? I think I've told you.
I do not know, but I think it's one of the funnier ones.
They had a team in their town in Switzerland, in Bern, called Bern FC, and there were a lot of young kids in the area that loved football as well, and they wondered why they couldn't have their own team, created their own team, calling themselves the Young Boys of Bern, and the rest is history. The thing about Young Boys, they're not a good road side. They have struggles going on the road, and the Albanians, Skenderbeu, are not playing in their home stadium down. The Albanian Football League is so underdeveloped that they can't actually play in their home stadium. They're actually doing a neutral site game up in Elbasan. So, again, this isn't necessarily a home game for Skenderbeu, but it's going to be fun. I'm excited for it. I'm obviously an Albanian, as many know, so I'm excited about this one. I hopefully hope that they can keep this one close. I have draw double chance. But, yes, now the Young Boys is in action today. Should be interesting. That's going to be it for the show.
Yep.
We will have plenty more. Keep in mind, we are on tomorrow as well. We'll look back to the Thursday night game, talk about that. We'll look back to the Texas Iowa State game, talk about that. We also will go through more of the college card and more of NFL tomorrow on the right side of campus at 12:30. I'm back today with Drew Martin will record the Bet Buffet. It won't be on today. It's not live. It'll be on tomorrow morning. So when you wake up, make sure you check that out. I'm what am I, Donnie? 11 and 10, 11 and 9 in that on the year. So I'm up on the year in that.
Yep, it's a big week for you.
3-1 week last week. So make sure you check that out. Also, Donnie, going to have a special show today at 5 o'clock Eastern. Drew Martin, myself, and Ian Cameron will look into more of the Louisville and corruption scandal going on in the NCAA and really take a look as to how that will affect the betting markets. We also will get into, Donnie, a little bit of the pay for slay things in college football and college basketball. Another thing I feel need to be outlawed, and just the overall feelings on the NCAA. Should be an interesting show. And I'll also talk a little bit of futures on that show in college basketball and why certain teams have extreme advantages in these situations. So check that out at 5 o'clock. Donnie, you'll be on at 6 o'clock today. What do you have going on in the closing line?
Yeah, so it should be interesting tonight. Again, don't have to talk much baseball tonight. It's going to be a football show tonight. We'll get you ready for the Thursday night football games, both in college football and professional football, and also take a look at those Saturday and Sunday interesting efforts here. Typically on Thursdays, I do have a guest along with me. I haven't confirmed that yet. I know Matt Holt's been on quite a few times there to see where some of that sharp money movement is going. And we'll see if the books can have another decent weekend. They cleaned up on Saturday and Sunday last week, Jeff, but I think the public's going to come back strong here and take some money back this week from them.
Very good. Donnie, before we go, I have 2 questions for you. You seem to be pretty bad at this, but I feel like you should know this one. Where is Hapoel Beersheva? What country is that in?
Hapoel Beersheva?
Correct. Now, Shiva should really give you very few.
Mexico?
Shiva? Yeshiva.
Chivas?
Do you know what a yeshiva is?
Oh, yeshiva. I thought, what about like Chivas?
No, Shiva. Shiva. It's a Hebrew word.
Hebrew. So we're going to go Israel, maybe?
There you go. Great job,
Yes.
Donnie. One other one. Let's see if this is a tough one. If you get this one, I really believe in you. Vardar Skopje.
Water sculpture. I mean, it's obviously got to be one. Maybe
I'll give you a hint, Donnie.
I know it's like a Poland or something like that.
You're actually not far off, but one of their most famous residents in this country is Mother Teresa.
Well, Mother Teresa was wasn't she from like South America?
No, she's Albanian, Donnie, but she's from Macedonia.
Mother Teresa's Albanian? I don't know.
Mother Teresa
Really?
is an Albanian. However, she grew up in Macedonia, which is a fairly Albanian country in the Balkans. She's Macedonian, Donnie. Skopje is the capital of Macedonia. So you actually weren't far off from Poland and Croatia and those countries. They're not far, but you went 1 for 4, Donnie. Not too bad.
Not bad. Not bad on my journey.
We'll try Europa League country guessing with Donnie Red said next week. Actually, you know what? Next week we'll do World Cup edition because there are a lot of countries involved where I don't know that I believe that Donnie will know where they are. Donnie, where's this group? Where's Orlando FC? Where are they from?
Who is it?
Orlando FC. Where are they from?
Well, I mean, I don't think there's a soccer team in the United States with that. So, Orlando.
Yes, Orlando FC. Where are they?
Not. I mean, is it a trick question? Like Orlando actually has a soccer team, or are we doing like an Orlando out of the country?
They are in the United States, Donnie. Orlando.
I'm thinking of giving like Orlando, like somewhere in like Eastern Europe or something.
No, they're actually in Florida, Donnie. They do have a real soccer team there. So
did not know that. Did not know Orlando got down like that.
Yes, they have. They're fairly new though. All right, everyone have a great night. That was fun. We'll try that another time next time. We're actually taking bets next time on how many Donnie can get right out of the 5. He didn't do too well this week, so we'll try again next week.
Very domesticated, man. Very domesticated.
Right. For us tonight, we're out. We're not really too into the Thursday night football game. We're kind of leaning Chicago, but the number we want 7 or 7.5. Donnie does like the under 46, but that number's long gone. For me, I like.
Yeah, I still would lean on the under as well. I'd get questions there. It's a 44.5. I'd still lean under as well. It's not going to make or break for me.
Yeah, I like over 62. Texas, Iowa State. Everyone have a great night. We'll be back Friday, 12:30, when we do this one more time. Have a great night. Bye bye.